Good afternoon from the Happy Heretic. We finally, after 3 or 4 weeks, got rain. Yay! And it's beautiful and sunny. Things are growing and looking great. But we have had some problems. I came out today and I've been seeing just a few Japanese beetles. I came out today and I was just picking them one at a time off the canna. And then I looked over, let's see, to those sunflowers on the other side, and there was a procession of them coming out of the blooms, and they were using it. I posted in my Facebook group, and I said, they were using it like a brothel. They were over there just procreating like crazy. So I sprayed. I know you're not supposed to spray in the middle of the day, and I did not care. They were oh, sorry for the rapid change, but they were everywhere. And luckily Japanese beetles are kind of dumb and awkward. It's sort of weird. You can walk right up with your right hand, hold, or whatever hand that you use, hold it under there and just do like that, and they just fall into the cup. So I did spray just a little bit, but when I came out in a few hours, I didn't want to spray the top of the leaves too heavily, but you see what they were doing. They were just eating these things alive. I've got something else going on down there. I have to look into that when I have my other glasses on. But I came out to look at the beds and see how everything was doing with the rain, and it's fabulous. I did lose this marigold, which I hate because it's gorgeous, and I don't know if we're gonna recover. These are stunning marigolds. I absolutely love them. I have more sunflowers coming up. I threw my tomato plants are doing well. I didn't know that if they would, but 2 out of 3 or 4, I can't remember, made it in this little bed. And then I put some more seeds down, so we'll see. I think I saw one coming up somewhere. Let's see. I don't see it right now, but I just put them down. They should, with the rain and the sun, they should germinate. But Hugelkultur, I'm just calling it HB3, Hugelkultur bed number 3. I put this in a couple of weeks ago, layered it, and I've been watering it, letting things kind of break down, and I put some seeds down, and today I have my very first seedling coming up, and I don't know what it is. I put a bunch of things in this. I put some cut up tomatoes, I put jalapenos, beans, a bunch of stuff. I just threw a bunch of stuff on there just to see what it would do. But look how big my sunflowers are getting. And I'm standing on the ground. Let's see. I'm a little bit lower, but not much. And so it's probably a little over 5 feet. My cannon is much taller than I am. So over here, sunflowers are probably 4.5 feet. And these are still, the big ones are still not staked. But they were transplanted, and I just put some more seeds down because I want to keep blooms all season long. But you can see we're going to have blooms pretty soon on those. I finally had to stake these. These are Pro-Cut Brilliants, I think. And they were transplanted seedlings. And I think that's Black Beauty. And they all look puny. And I'm going to walk back over to the other ones because I want to show you something. I think these are Russian mammoths. I could be wrong, but I think they are. But they're not staked. They're doing pretty well. But I want to show you something. These are not staked at all, and they have a really good stem in there, like that. But the ones that were volunteers that grew from seed I didn't even know was there, look at the size of the cane on these things, and they are so much firmer. Speaking of which, let's do a little. These are the beds that I dug up again and put a layer of thin paper down. And it's starting to break down. I water it almost every day. We've had, like I said, we've had no rain at all. So, you know what, next year I'm gonna order about 1 billion of those seeds. Those are amazing. And then over here, the rain knocked most of the blooms off of the wildflowers. I put my, oh shoot, what's it called? Nasturtium in the ground a little while ago, and it started doing so much better. So I had some other types of nasturtium, the variegated kind, and they were, as you can see, struggling because they're all the same age. So I put them in the ground too, and there's also a bunch of seedlings or seeds down here in these beds, and in this one, there is a seedling coming up. Hopefully I'll start to see more and more of that. Oh, there's one over there too. I want to be careful not to step on them. I also put a couple of coleus in. We'll see how they do. But I wanted to show you this because my mom gave me this elephant ear bulb and it has really taken off. It's crazy. Okay, my morning glory is not doing so great. I have all kinds of things for it to climb, but it's not doing it. That's okay. But I think I'm pretty happy with the way my first year beds are going. This new Hugelkultur is, the intention is, as it gets cooler, all the Hugelkultur beds are going to be used for veggies. But canna and all of that. I am working on this area still. It's been crazy out here with the pests have just been insane. But I'm going to, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's very, very uneven. I can't dig because there's cables or pipes or I don't know what there is under there, but you can't dig here. I tried. And I've let it grow back up and I've been watering in the middle to help it decompose because I'm gonna have to build up, not down. But I don't wanna do it until I get Paul's help out here to level this ground a little bit or I'm gonna break an ankle. You guys know about the chickens? That's the run. All we have to do this weekend is put the chicken wire over it. And then they'll have their run. And weeks ago, I put in rhizomes, I guess it's rhizomes of ginger that my mom gave me a couple of years ago. And it's coming up really well now. It's gonna be beautiful. This ginger's gorgeous. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little leaves of plants coming up from that. The sunflowers on this side of the patio did not make it. I don't think they got enough sun, plus the dogs. So I'm just gonna pull those up and probably plant coleus all along here. I've been digging it up a little bit. And this is right next to Hugelkultur bed number 2. We now have beans coming up and basil, and the red giant mustard has come back. And I put seeds down here too. I don't see any babies yet. Doesn't mean there aren't any, but it's because it would be under the hay. But we'll see. I put quite a few, something will come up. Let's see what we've got over here. This was supposed to be a watermelon. But I can't find the little tag. But it's not growing very quickly, and watermelon's supposed to grow pretty quickly. So I guess we're gonna find out what it is. I mulched pretty well. I put some compost down and then mulched. And then over here I have some tomato plants. I really wish I had done those Bush Champion. I had no idea how good they were. My cucumber almost didn't make it. I had to transplant it. It wasn't doing well in the pot. I had it in one of those little cloth pots. So I put it in here, spread it out so that the vines, all the runners would be covered up. It can put down new roots. It's got really good mulch on it. And it's flowering, and I took off the stuff that had died back. I can't believe these sunflowers made it. These are in the back and they don't get nearly as much sun, but they're about to bloom anyway. I don't even know what kind they are. And here is my pumpkin. Look at that. Really strong, really strong vine. Big leaves. We had a little bit of problem for a little while with pests, but I think I've got that mostly under control. I had to pick those red giant mustard back all the way, but look at them now. If you like mustard, if you're a fan of like spicy Dijon type mustard, this is the plant for you. Not only are they very, very good for you, but as you chew them, they taste, and I'm not a mustard fan. I bought them because they were pretty. I wanted to see what they looked like when they were grown. But they're actually kind of an interesting addition, and you see how huge the leaves are. One leaf would do it for a salad, an entire salad, because you don't want the whole thing tasting like mustard. But This is my tomato plants from seed. Several different types in here, growing just fine on the Hugelkultur mound, number 1. And this is my purslane. And I gotta tell you, in the summertime, when it's hot, it's a little bit sour, but it's very, very good. Okay, the gourds. I'm so excited about this. Look, my butternut squash. Yay! And back up so you can see. Look at that. Taking over. I can't remember if that's my loofah or my birdhouse. I won't know because a lot of the, let's see if any of the stakes are still under here. I don't know where they went, but I don't see any of the stakes. This is, I think this is a straight 8 cucumber. No, this is a Boston pickling cucumber. And Paul's extremely excited because it's growing. Yep, Boston pickling. And I planted it 426. I don't think I put these, you know what, now I don't remember. If you guys watch, maybe you know. I don't remember if I put these as seeds straight in or if I transplanted them. I want to say I transplanted them when they were very small, but I could be wrong. But it took it a while to get going. All of them, they just sat here. We had cold nights way too far into the season. Getting bitten by mosquitoes, of course I am. But now I am tickled pink with the way they're growing. And I'm hoping that the pumpkin and the cucumber on the other side will start growing too. But I will always grow gourds from now on. Let's see. I have butternut squash, gourd, birdhouse, gourd, a loofah, and a decorative one whose name I can never remember. But all of them are growing, so, and all of them are flowering, so hopefully we'll know something about that before too long. Don't tickle pink. The compost piles. I need a more attractive cover than that. But that is my mostly finished compost. It hasn't been hot in probably 2 weeks. There's a couple of pieces of uncomposted paper in there, but that's it. And I've been using it around my vegetable plants. The big one, I made friends with my neighbor. She gave me a ton of leaves and things. And it's in there with a bale of straw. My door's not working. And I water it pretty often and throw greens in there. But I wasn't getting any greens because it had been so hot that this answers your question about whether or not a compost pile whether compost makes any difference. These are the only plants right around my compost areas, and then over here because there's lots of compost and things like that. But all of this ground was just basically crunchy before we got a couple of days of rain. So I think that's all that's going on. The chicken house, the chicken run is almost done. The sunflowers are doing well. I put new seed down so I can keep them going all summer. The compost piles are working, but with this rain, now you can see the clover has all popped back up, but it should be really high. But anywhere I do any kind of composting, you can absolutely see the difference in the ground and the way things grow. So I'm curious to see how the Hugelkultur beds perform. I just indiscriminately spread seeds just to see what would happen. Really happy with my beds. The worm bins. Okay, so here's what happened with the worm bins. They are mostly still alive, I think. It got really bad. So we're gonna sit right here and talk about the poor worms. My red wigglers were procreating like crazy and super happy, and I don't know what happened. I had to put the lid on them because it was raining, and normally it's just open so there's not a bunch of holes in there. But I thought, for a few hours that they would be fine. And when I went out there yesterday, they didn't look fine. So I went ahead and put a bunch of holes up under the rim of the 55-gallon tote and I aerated them, gave them some more water. They breathe through their skin in the moistness. So I gave them a little bit of more water in the bedding and put a bunch of holes under the rim, and did the same for the African night crawlers. So today I put in eggshells and coffee grounds. Hopefully that will make them happy. And I'm just going out every day and aerating it and checking them. But I will say, I think my population is probably down 20% on the red wigglers and maybe 30% on the African night crawlers. Now it's warm and it looks like everything has stabilized. The moisture content's good. I've added a lot of good bedding, and I think I've got the oxygen level problem taken care of. You know, there's lots of things that can go wrong in your garden. It just means a plant that doesn't look as good or maybe even dies. But when it's, you know, when you're farming or raising something, and you, especially in now the space I have them in means that they're not all dead. I honestly believe that if I'd had them in a 10-gallon tote like a lot of people do, that I would have lost them all. But they're in a 55-gallon, each of them have 55-gallon totes. So a mistake may hurt your population, but the eggs, I saw tons, well, in the red wiggler bin, there are tons and tons and tons of cocoons, and each of them should yield 2 to 3 new worms. Now it'll take months for them to mature, but in those months, the already mature ones, they're hermaphroditic. So when they mate, they both lay eggs. And they can do that, I think, a couple a week. So I'll get my population back. You just hate it when anything goes wrong with something living. So that's what's going on. I am thrilled to death that we're finally getting rain, and that it wasn't just one hard rain. It was a little bit one night and then more the next night. I think we're scheduled to have some more this weekend. And in the daytime, I'm sure you can tell the sun is just, and it gets behind a cloud the minute I say it. That was fantastic. But that it's sunny and it's warm and humid, and the mosquitoes are eating me alive, of course. But check back in, because I have a feeling that this Hugelkultur, if you saw it to begin with, you'll see it's only about half its original height. But that's okay. I will build it up again when it comes time to do fall planting. I'll do some more straw or hay or whatever, and more mulch, more compost rather than more mulch. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how this thing turns out. And I gotta tell you, I think the stars, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the stars of my garden this year are these marigolds. I know I'm probably the only person on the planet that loves these things, but I think these are stunning. I love the color, and they're just, look at all the new buds coming in. I hate that I may have to take that one out, but that's okay. They give room for the other ones. So the canna, which I can't claim much credit for other than chopping it down and in the spring, and then watering and maintaining it, trying to keep the pest off of it. I think I see new Japanese beetles coming in. It's time to get my soapy water cup. But things are going well, pleased to death, and looks like I've kept this under 20 minutes. I'm impressed, because I kind of caught you up on everything. Okay, well, this is the Happy Heretic, and like it if you like it. Subscribe if you want to see what crazy thing I'm up to on any given day and what's going on with the Hugelkultur beds.